What's one thing you learned embarrassingly late in life? I was 22 when I learned that a baker's dozen was 13, not 11. I was in a college class and the professor asked if anyone knew why a baker's dozen was 13. I raised my hand and said, I thought it was 11. The professor laughed and said, no, it's 13. Does anyone know why? Another student explained that it was because bakers would add an extra loaf to a dozen to avoid being accused of shortchanging customers. I was embarrassed, but I learned something new that day. Fast forward a few years, and I was working at a bakery. One day, a customer came in and asked for a baker's dozen of bagels. I confidently gave him 13 bagels, remembering what I had learned in college. The customer looked at me and said, I asked for a baker's dozen, not 13. I was confused and said, a baker's dozen is 13. The customer laughed and said, no, it's 11. I was shocked and said, I thought it was 13. The customer explained that in some regions, a baker's dozen was 11 because bakers would take one bagel out of a dozen to test for quality. I was embarrassed again, but I learned that day that a baker's dozen could be different depending on where you were.